One of the most popular questions that I get asked in any of my groups, whether they be keto or cooking or, foodie groups, is about making stock or bone broth, which is also very trendy in health and nutrition these days. So, since we were talking about the two crazy ketos and how they were doing a meat of the day sort of challenge for cooking and recipe creation, yesterday they had whole chicken, and so I made a rotisserie chicken, and now I have like this whole carcass left. And I thought, since today their topic was bone broth, one of the best things I could do is actually show you how I make a bone broth and how it becomes easy peasy. And if you have an Instapot, how spectacularly simple it is to come up with a super flavorful and really collagen-packed bone broth or stock, whichever you prefer to call it. They are the same thing. Even when people tell you that they're not, they are wrong. And so let's just do it. It's real simple. I've got myself a not quite 32 ounces of water, maybe probably about 28. There's no rhyme or reason you can put all the way up to 32 ounces. I've got my 6-quart Instant Pot here. I'm just dumping that in. I have here where I rested my rotisserie chicken. I saved up the pan drippings because I put it on a sheet tray and then tent it over so it can rest and all the juices can absorb into the meat, but also some of it comes out into the pan. It's shy of half a cup, but you can see it gets super dark from the rotisserie juices. So I pour that in. That gives us quite a lot of flavor right there. I have about 1/8 of a cup of apple cider vinegar. That goes right into the liquid. What did I tell you about how simple this is? Now, here is the genius between the Instant Pot. I have this silicone colander. It has little handles. You don't have to worry about the trivet. You don't want the trivet because it's going to be in the water, and you want the water to be free flowing through. And if you use the trivet, here's the trick. You have to then strain everything at the end because it's not going to stay contained. But this little colander has all the little holes and perforations, so all of the water can flow. It can still pressurize. It can still leach out the collagen from the bones. There's hardly anything left on this. So it's just the carcass with a little bit of the gristly bits that you don't eat. So you just drop that right in. And when you're done, you'll be able to lift that right out onto the container, let the remaining juices drip out before you pour it off. But that's it. So if you're carnivore, this part is going to be more tricky. Maybe you don't want to do all of this part, but you're not consuming it. It's going to be removed at the end. So up to you. This is definitely great for keto. 1000%. I've got half a red onion. You don't even have to peel it. You just chop these 2 big chunks and boom, stick them right in. I have fresh ginger. Remember, well, actually, I haven't done that yet, but I've shown a root before. If you don't know what a ginger root looks like, it's got a brown skin on it. Normally, you would peel it so you can puree it or mince it or dice it. But for this, you just hunk up a big quantity of it that is significant amounts of ginger. I love that spicy ginger taste. Right on top of your carcass. Cloves of garlic. And yes, there's some peel in there too. There's 3 big cloves, and then there were like a bunch of these little teeny baby cloves in there. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. If you love garlic, put more. If you're not so big on it and you just want a little touch, just use 2 or 3. I've got this nice little handful here. You don't have to do anything to them. You can give them a little smush if you want, but you don't have to. The pressure cooking is going to soften those and leach out the flavoring. I've got the peel, the ends, the whole 9 yards. Boom, right there on the top of the colander. And then my very favorite is this turmeric root. I've got quite a lot of it. I love turmeric. Fresh turmeric. Fresh turmeric is amazing. It's 1,000 times better than the powder. So, and it looks very similar to a ginger root, except for instead of being lumpy, it's usually like fingers. I will remember on my Sunday night live stream to pull one out and show you guys what a turmeric root looks like. But I've cut up like 3 pretty sizable turmeric roots. It's just part of one of my favorites. And the nice thing about this, if you don't like it, leave it out. If you want something else, throw it in. Sometimes I get big handfuls of herbs from the garden and throw them in. Sometimes I put in large hunks of the herbs from the garden, or maybe some scallions. Sometimes I will throw in whole peppercorns. Just wasn't the profile I wanted today. The drippings from my rotisserie chicken were really super strong, so I didn't need to do any of that. I'm just going to put my turmeric root because I love it, and it will be amazing. And that is pretty much it for your stock, or your bone broth, whatever you prefer to call it, if it makes you feel better. You put down your lid. Now here's the thing. If you're making bone broth on the stove, you're going to simmer it all day long. I mean, you're going to start it at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and you want to let it go until 8 or so at night. Yes, that long. If you're not taking that much time, then you're not fully getting the full breakdown of those bones to make your hearty stock. So that is a big part of that. But the pressure cooker can accelerate that. Don't get me wrong. It's still a long time. We're going to set this on high pressure for 3 hours. So let me find my thing. Which pot am I in? It is manual, and I've already got it on high pressure. And so now we're just going to set my timer here. Takes a second. It'll go faster eventually. And we just want to get it to our 180 minutes. Do, 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 do. And that is it. So, I mean, I'm not even going to stand here and record a video for 3 hours. That would be insane. Can you imagine? I'm not sure it would do very good on your metrics for YouTube. But we will come back when this is ready. Now, the other important thing, because we'll wait before I turn the camera back on, is you let it natural release. That means you don't do anything. You just wait for it to depressurize. That does take quite a bit of time. A lot of times if you're just doing small things, or if it's only been pressurized for like 40 minutes, your depressurization, if you natural release, will only take like 15-20 minutes tops. But with this, to naturally pressure release after it's been on high pressure for 3 hours like this, it's going to take another 30 minutes. So it's got some time in there. I'm going to wait until just a couple minutes before it finishes that depressurization. Once it's depressurized, we'll come back and I'll show you the broth at the end, and I'll show you how easy it is with that colander. Amazing. So that is everything for our bone broth. Whoa, easy peasy, right? And it always seems like such a complex dish, and people always fret and worry about it, but check out how simple that was. Everybody can do it. Every single person. You can be a brand new cook in the kitchen, and you can do this. Delightful and very flexible for tons and tons of dishes. And yes, we will use this bone broth to make another recipe a little bit later in the week. So I'll see you later. I'll be back in a little while. In like 3.5 hours, actually. Bye-bye. Hey, everyone. So we're back. Our Instapot has depressurized, and it is time to show you how simple it is to finish this off. So we're just going to take our lid off. Try not to slop your liquid all over from the bottom of the pot. So we just take this and set it aside. And remember all that stuff we put in there? Remember how I told you it was important that we were going to have this colander? Check this out. We'll let it drain for a second here over the bowl that I'm going to put my broth in. I probably should have brought 2 down, but we'll just scoop out 1 for you, and then we can finish up. But all of this will be good to go. Let it cool down just a little bit, and then you can throw it right into your compost. But yeah, so your carcass and all of the stuff is all broken down. It's, very, very squishy. I don't know why I'm touching that. I don't want to touch that. It's kind of mush. But you've got everything, so you can't reuse it. It's done. I mean, it's done. So compost it is, but it's lovely for your compost. It'll be great for your soil and your garden. And now you don't have to strain your broth. It's already taken care of. So we just scoop it in here, and you can see in the camera, look at that richness. Is that not awesome? It's that deep, rich coloring. It's full of all of those lovely flavors. It is going to be delightful, and by morning, once this is cooled overnight in the fridge, it will be a rich, thick gelatin, which is what you want with your bone broth. It's pulled all of the collagen and everything out of the carcass. So that's what you're looking for, is for the morning to be jelly. You can scoop off the fat. Yes, I know we're keto. Yes, we eat fat. But I'll be honest, the fat becomes an unpleasant flavor, and you really want that clear broth underneath. So let it chill overnight, and then in the morning, you'll have a disc of fat. You just scoop that whole disc right off and put it with the rest of your compost, and you are good to go with this luscious, super rich flavored broth. And we will show you a recipe with that in the very near future. So that is it. I've got quite a bit to scoop out. I don't think you need to sit here and watch me scoop broth for quite, a bit. But it looks like actually this one bowl is going to be just about right. This is a 3-quart container, so it's not unsubstantial a quantity or anything like that, lest you think we went through a lot of effort for very little results. It's hot, so I don't always like to pour it. But there we go. Perfect. Now my pot will be good to go. Don't forget to turn your Instant Pot off. That's it. Was that super easy or what? Basically, I put my carcass and veggies in there with some water and a little bit of the drippings from the rotisserie chicken while it rested. And I pulled all the meat off, and I went off and did all my other stuff, all my own thing. Boom, done. I have 1 pot to wash, 1 colander to wash, a couple plates because I use a lot of plates, which I probably didn't have to. And if I were up in my kitchen, instead of having another dirty plate, it would have gone towards the sink. So, really very minimal. So now you know you can make absolutely amazing, outstanding, the best bone broth ever. You see how rich it is. And so you don't have to buy it anymore if you don't want to. And you should be in great, excellent shape for some super delicious, nutritious, collagen and protein-filled bone broth. I will see you all Sunday night. Bye-bye.